Good morning. She's, oh, is she not on Zoom?
You know what, I would still.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Lots of lively conversation going on. I call the January 23rd, 2024 meeting of the DuPage County Board to order. A physical quorum of members is physically present. I will entertain a motion to permit those not physically present due to, okay. All in favor? Okay, all right, you guys can all read my mind. I love it. Okay. I invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Member Tonatori, will you please lead the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now invite Reverend Seth Carey of the First Congregational Church of Glen Ellen to lead us in the invocation.
You may be seated. I was asked to give a little reflection today, 3 to 5 minutes or so I think you ought to sit down. Thank you for allowing me to be here and speak with you all today, and considering what remarks might be useful or inspiring to a gathering such as this. I decided to go back to a sermon that I wrote about a year ago called All Politics is Local. And I cut about 75% of it out, so you'll be spared that. But wanted to share the essence of that message with you here today. So first of all, I received a letter in the mail a while back, and the envelope was stamped with the words, "Final Warning," in large unfriendly letters, and I knew immediately that this was not your garden variety junk mail about my car's extended warranty. Sure enough, it was penned by a guy in Florida who calls himself Severin, the self-proclaimed prophet to America. I could say, I suppose, that he's a concerned citizen, to put it mildly. Over the course of his 5-page screed, he argues that America is about to face a total collapse in the near future. This is the last warning before the election, he declares. So if you're not hurting too bad with all of the COVID variants, the wars, the inflation, an idiot in the White House, and battalions of America haters that have crossed our southern border, well, these are just previews of the coming attractions. It's a little unclear what exactly he is asking me to do about all of this, but he seems to believe that as a preacher I wield enough influence to shape the course of American politics. I get so frustrated with pastors who can't see the writing on the wall, he writes. If this gets through to the filters, all the way to the senior pastor, I just want you to know what crud you are. You may have a pretty face and a good gift for speaking. Well, he's got that much right. But you're still a crud, and when you go down, it won't be so pretty. I mean, look, I'm a concerned citizen too, but I've got one vote. Like everyone else, I can't be expected to fix all of the country's countless problems. Perhaps, as the much beloved Serenity Prayer reminds us, we should focus on accepting the things we cannot change and changing the things we can. It's become somewhat fashionable as of late to compare the 21st century America to the latter days of the Roman Empire, a time of decadence and decline, bread and circuses. And there are indeed some striking similarities, except there's not enough bread, and the political theater is the circus. It all feels quite dystopian, Orwellian in its aspect, Kafkaesque in its absurdity. Speaking of Kafka, in a parable that he wrote called An Imperial Message, he writes of a dying emperor who whispers something important in the ear of one of his servants, a message intended for you, the average citizen. But before the courier can reach you with this vital missive, he has to force his way past all of the nobles attending the emperor at his deathbed and out of his chambers. Then he has to get past multitudinous estates and gardens of the governing elites and the administrative offices of the bureaucracy. As Kafka concludes, he would have to stride through the courtyards, and after the courtyards, through the second palace, encircling the first, and then again through stairs and courtyards, and then once again a palace, and so on for thousands of years. And if he can finally burst through the outermost door, but that can never happen, the royal capital city, the center of the world, is still there in front of him, piled high and full of sediment. No one pushes his way through here, certainly not someone with a message from a dead man. These words remind us that most ordinary folks stand at an unimaginable distance from the halls of power. And yet we wait for a word on high to solve all of our troubles. But we don't have to wait for a president to get things done. The real work happens here in rooms like this, amongst people like you, in county village board meetings, in churches, in nonprofit community organizations. While presidential scandals and outrageous posts on Twitter tend to get a lot of attention, they have little bearing on the issues right here in our local community. Talking about stuff like affordable housing and food security and mental health. Severin, prophet of America, is sadly mistaken if he thinks that sending insulting letters to church pastors is an effective means of change. No, problems get solved when people who care enough to show up and do the work actually show up. You all secured funding for the DuPage PADS interim housing facility in Downers Grove. You've supported efforts to build affordable housing in our community. You've worked to ensure safe passage for migrants that have been passing through our county. And I know that you're working on 100 other things that I don't know about. So thank you, each and every one of you, for showing up. May whatever God you believe in bless you with the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you.
We can all keep that in mind. We'll all be better for it, right? Clerk, please take the roll.
Cahill. Chaplin.
Here.
Childress. Covert. Desart.
Here.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Here.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You.
Here.
And Zay.
Okay. Today we have two proclamations, and to start, we have the National Human Trafficking Prevention Month proclamation. I'd like to invite Member Carrie Galassi, Member Cindy Cahill, Cassandra Ma, Mark Derry, Matt Davidson, Ann Callan, and State's Attorney Bob Berlin to the podium. Today's first proclamation is an important one for our community. I want to thank board members Carrie Galassi and Cindy Cahill for asking that we join community organizers, law enforcement, prosecutors, and volunteers who are raising awareness around the prevalence of human trafficking in our nation and, yes, here in our county. We are fortunate to have State's Attorney Bob Berlin here, along with Cassandra Ma, Director of a nonprofit organization, Reclaim 13, and Reclaim 13 board members Ann Callan, Mark Derry, and Matt Davidson, who can tell us how DuPage County is being impacted. Please allow me to read our National Human Trafficking Prevention Month proclamation, and then I'll ask our group here to share a few insights. Whereas, human trafficking is a public health crisis that exploits the most vulnerable among us and weakens the health and well-being of individuals, families, and communities. And whereas more than 20 years since the passing of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, human trafficking still exists, including the forced and fraudulent recruitment, harboring, or transportation of people for labor or commerce, sex. And whereas a successful response to human trafficking requires a coordinated community-wide effort for prevention and healing, which can be seen through the initiatives of the State's Attorney's Office and Reclaim 13. And whereas the DuPage County State's Attorney's Office works diligently to prosecute cases in which people are victimized by human trafficking, and the nonprofit group Reclaim 13 supports survivors of human trafficking through the provision of healing services, including safe housing, trauma-informed therapy, community-based mentoring, and advocacy. Whereas DuPage County strives to be a place where human trafficking does not exist, where people have opportunities available to them to feel safe, supported, and healed, and where all people are treated as fully human and worthy of our supportive community and freedom. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah A. Conroy, Chair of the DuPage County Board, and members of the County Board do hereby designate January as Human Trafficking Prevention Month in DuPage County, and we call upon businesses, civic organizations, faith communities, employers, and families to recognize the vital role they play in combating human trafficking. And we support and applaud law enforcement, our state's attorney's office, and organizations such as Reclaim 13 for their efforts to prevent and end all forms of human trafficking. Is there a motion? Second? All in favor? Enacted this 23rd day of January 2024 in Wheaton, Illinois.
First, I just want to thank Chair Conroy for bringing this proclamation forward. I really appreciate it. And I just want to introduce, obviously everybody knows State's Attorney Barbara Lynn, but he's been very active in this fight against sex trafficking here in DuPage County, so I wanted to thank him for attending today. And he's also been very active with Reclaim 13. And I am just so honored that they're all here. First of all, we have a birthday today, so Matt Davidson, thank you for being here on your birthday. 25 looks really good on you. I just want to introduce Cassandra. January 27th, 2012, after a prayerful journey, she decided to found Reclaim 13, and since then she has serviced hundreds of DuPage residents in helping them get out of the sex trafficking world and rehabilitate them, and also assist in training and educating DuPage County in how to prevent sex trafficking. So I'm honored that they are here today, and Barbara Lynn, you want to say a few words first. Thank you.
I want to thank Chair Conroy, Member Galassi, Member Cahill, and all the members of the board for this proclamation during Human Trafficking Prevention Month. I'm grateful for the partnership that we have with Reclaim 13, Cassandra Mon, everybody here, and the incredible work they do to prevent human trafficking and also to help survivors get through it and try and move on after something horrible has happened to them. I'm grateful for the partnerships that we have with all our law enforcement agencies and our federal partners, the FBI and the U.S. Attorney, in our fight against human trafficking. And I can tell you that we will continue to do everything we can and use every tool in our toolbox to combat human trafficking. It is a crime that affects not just the victims, but the entire community. So thank you all for this proclamation.
I too want to thank all who have invited us here. Carrie has served on our advisory council. Chair Deb Conroy, who we've had the honor to meet with, and Cindy Cahill. We are honored to be here, and thank you. Later today, some of members of our staff are actually leaving for a human trafficking conference taking place in North Carolina, where they will also meet with one of our girls who was one of our first residents at Cherish House, which is a safe house for children who have been trafficked as young as 10. It is the only safe house that works with these precious children in this whole state. And Brianna, the girl I'm going to tell you about, was one of our first residents there. Brianna, one of the most notable things about Brianna's time with us at Cherish House is that she would run for a period of 9 weeks in a row. She would run from our safe house. And then I would get the call every Sunday that Brianna had run from the house and that one of our staff was running down the street chasing after her to bring her back. After this stopped after 9 weeks, thankfully. And she told one of our newest residents that came in after this whole period of time, she said, don't even bother running from this place because they're just going to find you, they're just going to catch you and bring you right back here. And one of the things that was notable about this whole series of events and this behavior, though, was that Brianna, the reason why Brianna was so vulnerable to trafficking and eventually went with a man who trafficked her was because her mom didn't want her. She never knew her father, and her mom didn't want her. And so when she was kicked out of her house, she was picked up by a man who took care of her and eventually became her first trafficker. So the message that was communicated to her by her behaviors when she would run and not be pursued, and then when she came to a Cherish House and when she would run and she would be pursued, was a powerful message that healed her broken heart, that there are people in this world who really do care about you. There are people who cherish you, and there are people who want you. And that very message was a message that transformed her beautiful heart. And so the problem of human trafficking will not be solved merely by the best services that we can possibly offer to these precious individuals or the best therapies. The problem of human trafficking requires the response of a compassionate community, communities who care about the plight of its most vulnerable citizens. This proclamation, we appreciate, is not just a proclamation of what we who live and work in DuPage County are against, but more importantly, what we are for. At Reclaim 13, we speak about the concept of forever community, a community that is committed to the well-being and the long-term care of all who are brought into our care. We are honored to stand alongside and collaborate with the fine people of DuPage County, of the DuPage County Board, the DuPage County State's Attorneys, Robert Berlin, who works tirelessly for bringing justice to its most vulnerable citizens and to victims of crime, to James Bendrick, Sheriff of DuPage County, who fights to bring safety to our communities, and all the 39 municipalities, and the chiefs who also fight to protect our citizens. To Kathy Hundley, the director of the DuPage County Children's Advocacy Center, who helps children our youngest crime victims bring to light and bring into words things that are oftentimes difficult to put into words. And finally, we are grateful to Chair Deb Conroy and the DuPage County Board for proclaiming that DuPage County is committed to combating human trafficking and in working toward a community where all of our children can grow up feeling safe and loved. Thank you.
Chair Conroy.
Member Desart.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a few words of thanks to Cherish House and Naomi House here in the area. Members Ozog and Chaplin and I visited Naomi's house a couple of years ago, where women who have suffered commercial exploitation have a safe place to find freedom finally. The point I wanted to get across is many of us think that human trafficking, when we think of that term, we think of someplace far, far away. We think of maybe other countries and again, far away. But one of the stories we heard when we were at Naomi's house was of a young woman who was meeting a mentor at a coffee house in Naperville. And all of a sudden, this woman got all super nervous. Her trafficker happened to be in that same coffee house, and she had to get out immediately, again, with the help of a mentor. So again, while we think of these things happening far away, they happen right here in our community. So again, thank you to Cherish House, State's Attorney Bob Berlin, Naomi's House for the important work that you do. Thank you.
Member Guston.
Madam Chair, thank you so much for giving me a moment to speak. I want to thank each and every one of you up here for everything you do. This is such an important topic. I will tell you also, I think in Wheaton or Glen Ellen, there is actually a bridal boutique by a new name where I bought my daughter's wedding dress, and all of the proceeds from the wedding dress go to help fight human trafficking. So if anybody really does want to financially help, there is a way to do it also through their program. You don't even realize how much human trafficking is in our own backyard. Sitting on the Naperville City Council, we would get those reports. So it's almost unbelievable, but you must believe it for those people that are being victimized by the human trafficking. So again, thank you all again for bringing this to the level of importance that it needs to be.
Okay, I'd like to invite Liz Chaplin and Adam Forker to the podium. Today we are also recognizing Kawasaki Disease Awareness Day. This January, we are pleased to offer our annual proclamation, Raising Awareness of Kawasaki's Disease. An illness that comes on suddenly, usually strikes young people and causes a host of unusual symptoms that can be very dangerous. As you may remember, Kawasaki's disease received attention during the COVID crisis because both Kawasaki disease and COVID share many of the same symptoms. Member Liz Chaplin has shared her family's experience with Kawasaki and can describe the symptoms and impact on children. And we are happy to welcome Adam Forker, Executive Director of DuPage County Health Department, who can also share some information about its impact on children. I'll read the proclamation today, and we can then ask to say a few words. Whereas Kawasaki's disease is a serious illness characterized by inflammation of the blood vessels throughout the body, primarily affecting young children, and can lead to permanent heart disease, lifelong aneurysms, stent placement, heart transplants, skin disorders, and childhood anxiety. And whereas Kawasaki's disease, more commonly known as KD, is the #1 cause of permanent heart disease in children and is diagnosed in approximately 5,000 U.S. children annually who are primarily under the age of 8. Whereas the lack of public knowledge and understanding of the disease plays a significant role in the overwhelming numbers of undiagnosed and untreated cases of KD, the dissemination of inaccurate, misleading information contributes to the obstacles preventing diagnoses and treatment of the disease. Whereas there is a need to educate healthcare professionals, parents, and members of the public about the disease, particularly since people could be unknowingly at risk. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah A. Conroy, Chair of the DuPage County Board, and members of the County Board do hereby designate January 26, 2024 as Kawasaki Disease Awareness Day in DuPage County and encourage DuPage County residents to learn more about the signs and symptoms of this disease to seek the appropriate treatment and care. Do I have a motion? All in favor? Enacted this 23rd day of January 2024 in Wheaton, Illinois.
So I'd like to thank Chair Conroy and the County Board. And actually, I think when Chair Conroy was a state rep, she had a resolution done at the state level for Kawasaki Awareness Day, so it's so important. So just briefly, this is my 12th year doing this, and it's my last unless I'm invited back to continue to promote this. But I think as elected officials, it's a great platform for us to raise awareness of things that are important, that are happening in our community, just like the trafficking. You know, so many board members bring really great things up here to talk about to raise awareness. So this is what I've been doing for the last 12 years. So my daughter was 7 when she was diagnosed with Kawasaki. She was misdiagnosed the first visit to the doctor. And having a sister who's a doctor myself, I called her. I was still concerned about my daughter's symptoms. She said, take her back, see the doctor again. On our second visit to the doctor, they sent us for some blood work. I think the doctor had an idea of what may be going on, but didn't want to say anything. So after the blood work was tested, and we got a phone call late that night saying that the emergency room in Hinsdale Hospital was waiting for our doctor, and our daughter was going to be starting treatment for Kawasaki disease. So she did get the treatment. It was diagnosed before 10 days, which is crucial because anything after 10 days, a lot of these kids do have acquired heart disease, aneurysms, and lifelong problems. But just really quick, there was a young boy that played on my son's soccer team when they were about 5. And I asked if this young kid was going to play soccer next year, and the mom said, no, he's not. And I said, oh, is he playing football? She said, no. She said, actually, he has 3 heart aneurysms. And I asked if he was born with them, and she said, no. And I said, did he have Kawasaki? And she said, yes, he did. So because he was also misdiagnosed, they told him basically the same thing they told us. It was a virus, and it would just have to run its course. So, being proactive and getting in and recognize those symptoms of the red swollen eyes, the cracked lips, the swollen tongue, the body rash, the extremely high fever that doesn't go away. Those are the signs and symptoms. And for those of you that have little kids, maybe grandkids, neighbors, it's good to let them know that this disease is out there. And it's prevalent in the winter and spring. And I'll let Adam Forker come up.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate being able to raise awareness about Kawasaki disease for a few different reasons. Of course, you've heard it's a serious illness and the most common cause of acquired heart disease in children. You heard some of the statistics already, and you heard that we do know it can be treated effectively if diagnosed early. But we also know early diagnosis requires this awareness for parents, for families, and importantly, for caregivers and healthcare providers. So that provider education and education for pediatricians is essential to this work. Taking action on this means learning the signs and symptoms, doing some things to create awareness, contacting your doctor if you believe this is affecting your family. So it's one of those, don't wait to reach out, don't wait, don't put off a visit, those kinds of things. This Friday, January 26th, is recognized internationally as KD Awareness Day. The health department will be promoting some information to help advance awareness on this on our social media accounts, so we certainly welcome any support boosting those messages if you happen to be active on social media yourself. And the last thing I'll say is you may be thinking that there's sort of an awareness day for everything, and there very well may be. But I think what's really important and somewhat unique about Kawasaki disease is we don't know the cause, and there is no known preventive health activity that we can suggest. Right? So public health is always telling you do these things preventively. We don't really have that for Kawasaki disease, so we really must rely on the early diagnosis to combat the impact. And again, awareness is critical for that. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for the work creating the space to talk about this.
Okay. On the matter of public comment, according to our county board rules, members of the public shall be afforded time to address the board. Individual remarks shall not exceed 3 minutes in length, nor short the total time provided for all remarks exceed 30 minutes. Our first speaker is
Nan Masiha.
So I'm just going to make my statement short.
Can you put your microphone, I don't know if it's on. Okay, it needs to be
Maybe
moved
move it
down
down.
a little bit.
I think you're familiar with my case, so I'm not going to regurge everything. I'm just going to make a short statement that all the work was completed under the approved and valid building permits and has been affixed to the same location for 25 years. Any retroactive violation is unlawful and would cause hardship. So I just point you to the codes 10.83 and 10.84, where it's an existing building, and it does cause undue hardship for us because it's already constructed and has met approval by the Building and Zoning Committee and has passed interior and exterior inspection. So that's all I have to say.
Jane Teague.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. My name is Jane Teague. My husband and I have lived at 2 South 170 Huntington Court since March 1985 in the house just north of the Messiejas, who have requested this variance. We share a common south side property line with their north rear property line, and there has never been a need in the history of our property for any kind of variance. Because the neighbors chose not to obtain permits when a fence, still unfinished, or a shed built in late 2021 have now both crossed over and beyond our property line. Because of these setback violations, we cannot build our own fence within 3 inches of our property line. Additionally, they had a new plat made last September that only measures the shed from its base and does not show that its eaves project an additional 11 inches north, including over our property, close to our patio, and 9 inches closer to their west property line. This is a much larger, taller building than the small metal shed that preceded it, which sat atop a portion of a larger cement slab, which this shed now completely envelops. It is not close to being within the minimum 3-foot code. Additionally, we cannot place our home up for sale until everything related to the neighbor's noncompliance is brought into code to restore our clean property line. We're stuck. Because the neighbors have refused to fix these problems and ignored the adjudication court's October 24th, 2023 compliance deadline, we believe the county must intervene in any way necessary to assure removal of everything in violation without further delays or excuses by the homeowners. I will add misrepresentations. Finally, this variance is contingent on the shed being over 5 years old. It is not. It is just over 2 years old. Neither the lack of permits nor the Messier's false pretenses on which they are trying to obtain this variance are permissible. Two wrongs do not make a right. We should not have to sacrifice our property line for the sake of their desire to ignore anybody's codes or wishes but their own. We request your assistance in enforcing our county codes, which exist to prevent precisely these types of problems. We need to be free to do as we wish with our property. We strongly oppose this variance, and we humbly request that you also oppose it, as have the Development Committee and the Zoning Board officer. We desperately need your help. Thank you very much.
Mohammed Bilani.
Good morning. I'm here to comment for 12D, which is approved to condition use for auto sale on the internet. I'm actually not the owner. I'm the potential buyer. We have a contract, cash contract contingent to your approve. So that's, if you approve it today, we are gonna close it within 4 or 5 days. If you deny it, so the contract will cancel. I'm not gonna fight for it anymore because I hate fighting. However, I'm super interested on this particular land. Actually, I dream to own this particular land because for 2 reasons. One reason, I'm living across the street from this land. I'm living in Falling Water. It's not even half a mile from my house. And second of all, it's in the middle of my community. We have very huge community in this area. I'm sure you know about the Mecca Center. We have over 500 families there. And I serve on this community. My wife serves, just of course volunteer. So my driving between my job and my house and the center is going to be way easy. Also, I know my community, they are very wealthy, they are all doctors, they make a lot of money, so I'm seeking their business. They like to change, their car every other month or whatever. So for these 2 reasons, I'm very sure I'm gonna take care about this property. Because I'm gonna own it and run it. And when you own the property and you run it, it's not like you just lease it and rent it. So I'm gonna take about the landscaping, the parking lot, and the building, very sure. On the parking lot, there's a designated area so we can park the car. So we're gonna do only like luxury car, and eventually it's gonna be all electric car. So everything is gonna be nice and clean. Also, the traffic, it's not going to be that crazy because we do on internet only, so that's on appointment. So our average customer is going to be 2 to 3 customers per day. I own business for more than 10 years on Melrose Park, and also we sell cars on internet. So this is the average, for the traffic in and out. So it's not going to be that crazy. It's going to be way less than this land is already zoned. I know it's already zoned for the rental car. So the rental car is going to be more, maybe 10 times or 15 times for the using the parking lot and the traffic, you know, to rent a car and return it, rent it to return it's going to be way more than that what we have it here. Also, there's on the next door, there's a mechanic shop. Also, the traffic more than what we have to, what we will do have it in our this land. Also, there's like a car wash is going to be open soon. So,
Mr. Galani, if you could wrap up for your 3 minutes. You're at 3 minutes, if you could just wrap up.
okay, so yeah, I'm seeking your approval so to get this business open and hopefully you get my dream become true. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Brian Armstrong?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian Armstrong. I'm here on item 12C on your agenda. I'm the attorney for Flash Property Management. They're requesting a rezoning and a variation for property on St. Charles Road, just east of Schmale. The request for relief was unanimously recommended by both the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Development Committee. The only objection was from DuPage, and that was for a shed that encroached over the property line onto the Great Western Trail, which is adjacent to the north. That shed has been removed, so there is no encroachment. There were no objections from the public or any nearby municipalities. So with that, I just respectfully request that you approve item 12C on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay. If the board has received public comment via our online portal per board policy, those comments were provided to members yesterday so they could be reviewed. Comments submitted electronically will be included in the minutes of this meeting. I'll start my remarks today with a note of thanks for our transportation staff who have been working during the snowy, icy, sub-zero weather over the past few weeks to keep our roadways safe for travelers. I can report that even I heard our own Mike Frigere, manager of highway operations. Where's his picture? Okay, anyways, on several news outlets when the first heavy snowfall hit DuPage County. Mike, your team is the best, and we are grateful for the round-the-clock efforts to clear the roads. Mike's becoming a celebrity. As we move into today's meeting, allow me to also express my thanks to members of the board and a large number of DuPage managers and mayors and managers who have reached out in support of our efforts to ensure safety for asylum seekers who have been dropped off by buses from Texas. The snowy road conditions and dangerously cold weather slowed some of the bus traffic over the past week, thankfully. For several days, we have received no buses at our metro stations. However, we continue to work with our partners, the city's Office of Emergency Management, METRA, social service coordinators at the landing zone, and our local police to keep everyone safe as asylum seekers make their way to the city to receive the services they need. And again, for all who wish to help, please visit chicago.gov/support to learn more about donating and volunteering. Finally, this is a call out to the DuPage senior citizens, caregivers, and family members. You are all invited to join us for a free workshop called Safe from Scams. Representatives of the offices of the Recorder, Treasurer, State's Attorney, Sheriff, and Information Technology will all provide presentations aimed at keeping our seniors safe. You'll learn how to spot common scams, including phone, internet, dating, and social media schemes. Our presenters will also provide tips to help seniors keep their money secure and information about reporting financial fraud. The event runs from 9:30 until 11 a.m. Wednesday, January 31st in the first floor auditorium, right here in the JTK Administrative Building. This event will be live streamed on the DuPage County YouTube channel. All are invited to attend this free event. Okay, on to the consent agenda. I seek a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Okay. 24-398, DuPage County Board Minutes, regular meeting, Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. 24-286, 1/5/2024, pay list. 24-323, 1/9/2024, pay list. 24-394, 1/12/2024 pay list, 24/420, 1/17/24 auto pay debit pay list, 24/426, 1/17/2024 public works refund pay list, 24/287, 1/5/2024 Corval wire transfer, 24/334, 1/9/2024 IDOR wire transfer, 24/388 Recorder's Office Monthly Revenue Statement, December 2023, 24/389 Clerk's Office Monthly Report of Deposits and Disbursements, December 2023, 24/395 Treasurer's Office Monthly Report of Investments and Deposits, December 2023, 24/01 Change orders to various contracts as specified in the packet. All in favor? Okay, and now we'll move on to County Board and Vice Chair, Member Childress.
Thank you, Chair. Today, I'd like to move on the appointment of Gina Lamantia to the DuPage County Board. That is CBR 1424.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. And Chaplin.
Aye.
Okay, Member Childress.
Thank you. I'd like to move on CBR 1524 to the appointment of Anthony Gentilla.
Second most favorable roll.
Leave is granted. Member Childress.
Okay, I'd like to move on CBR 1624, the appointment of Eric Swanson to the Emergency Telephone System Board, Sheriff's Representative.
Leave is granted. Member Childress.
I'd also like to move on the appointment of Public Aid Committee, members listed, that's CBR 1724.
Leave is granted. Member Childress.
And I'd also like to move on 24/387, county board members to attend the NACO legislative session in Washington, D.C. from February 9th, 2024 to February 12th, 2024. Expenses to include transportation, lodging, miscellaneous expenses, and per diem.
Leave is granted.
For the total of 1881.
Okay, leave is granted. Thank you, Member Childress.
Thank you.
Okay, Finance and Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'd just like to take this moment, if I may, to just give a little brief update about the ad hoc Housing Solutions Committee, because we've been getting some questions asked. So although we haven't met for the last part of since October, our staff has been very busy working behind the scenes with our partners in affordable housing. They've been having monthly meetings with some groups and weekly meetings with other groups. So we're very excited. I think Member Tornatore and I are very excited. We're going to have a meeting the beginning of March, I believe, March 12th. We're hopefully going to have our next ad hoc meeting. And all of the analytical data will be given to the board. And, we'll be able to share what our staff has come up with. So exciting times on that front. So I will make a motion to approve FIR 1624, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, a state supplemental funds intergovernmental agreement in the amount of $165 Human Resource Department.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Yes.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay. And Cahill.
Okay, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 1724, additional appropriation for the Animal Services Fund, Company 1100, Accounting Unit 1300, in the amount of $200,000, Animal Services.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 1824, approval of a grant agreement between the County of DuPage, and the Children Friendly Courts Foundation for the Safe Harbor Children's Reading Room in the amount of $40,750 ARPA interest.
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 1924 budget transfers 123-2024 various companies and accounting units.
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 2024 awarding resolution for trenchless rehabilitation and maintenance of pipeline
Hold on.
infrastructure.
I think we're.
Oh, we pulled this. That's right. I'm sorry. Duh. Okay.
That's okay.
I move approval of FIR 2124 appointment of IMRF authorized agent, human resources.
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 2224 revision to personnel manual, animal services.
Leave is granted, Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 2324 intergovernmental agreement between TechShare Local Government Corporation, the County of DuPage, and the DuPage County State's Attorney for professional case management and digital media services for an estimated county cost of $181,250 State's Attorney's Office.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And Animal Services, Member Krajewski.
Just real briefly, in December, we were moving pretty good on the construction because of the warm weather. Now we're slowing down because of the cold weather, as we've known outside. But I think we've had our first two individuals or people donate to naming rights of the building, so that is now up and running. And I'm sure Member Desart will talk about the fundraiser at Old Business. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay. And now we're on to development, and Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCP 1-24 as a recommendation for a contract purchase to Safe Built Illinois for professional services to perform building and plumbing plan reviews on an as-needed basis in unincorporated DuPage County for a period of January 29, 2024 through November 30th, 2024 for building and zoning for a contract not to exceed $75,000.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Tornatori.
Aye.
You.
Aye.
Zay. Aye. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Aye. Evans. Aye. Galassi. Aye. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwarzy.
Okay. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 1-24 zoning 2377 Messia to approve a conditional use to reduce the rear yard setback for an existing shed from the required 3 feet to approximately 0.6 feet, where it has existed for at least 5 years. This was denied by the zoning hearing officer as well as denied by the development committee. A no vote will be consistent with both of those committees, and I vote will be overturning the zoning hearing officer and the development committee.
Second.
Oh, okay. Member Eckhoff has a question or a comment.
If Paul is here or online, I just had a question about in the event this fails, as it did with the zoning hearing officer and the development committee, what's the next step to obtain compliance?
So the next step for this, if it was denied here, it would be moving forward in our adjudication program to bring compliance. After that, if compliance is not met, we may possibly be working with circuit court.
With what?
With the circuit court with our state's attorney.
Well, I know lots of times we try and send out letters and cajole people to do what they are supposed to do, but it seems like this petitioner is known for a long time that he's done wrong. And I would suggest that we not do a whole lot of letters and we just go right to compliance as quickly as we can.
I believe we have. It's in the process.
Okay, so we need a roll call on this. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Tornatori.
No.
You.
No.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
No.
Childress.
No.
Covert. Desart.
Nay.
Eckhoff. Evans.
No.
Galassi. Garcia.
No.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwarzy.
Okay, motion fails. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 2-24 zoning 2370 flash property management to approve a rezoning from R4 single family to B2 variation to reduce the north rear yard setback from 40 feet to approximately 10, and a reduction in use of yards by conditional use procedure.
You want to roll, okay, we need a roll call on this.
Tornatori.
Aye.
You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. And Cahill.
Okay, Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 3-24 zoning 2985 to approve a conditional use to allow auto sales in a B1 local business district. This was denied by the zoning hearing officer and the development committee.
Second.
Okay, we have a question from Member Desart.
I do, thank you. It's either this one or the next one, I'm not sure. I'm not on this committee, as you know, Chair Tornatori, but I do show up whenever I can, and I want to know which of these 12D or 12E, where it's a catch-22, they wanted the owner to put, I believe it's this one, to put in a fire hydrant. However, the potential purchaser didn't own the property yet, so they were reluctant to put in the required fire hydrant. Is that this one or the next one?
This is the one where the contract purchaser is the petitioner who came up before us this morning. There are going to be fire suppression issues because apparently there will be cars parked over the entire property, which will be problematic for the current fire hydrants as well as setback issues. It's an internet sales situation.
That's right. Okay,
There's
thank you for reminding me.
No employee information that was given to the zoning hearing officer.
But isn't that kind of a catch-22 that they don't want to spend money on fire hydrants before they actually purchase the property, but they don't want to purchase the property if they don't have, if they're not going to be able to zone because of the fire hydrants, you know?
Well, it's only a
catch-22.
catch-22 if the purchaser makes it that. I mean, as I think I indicated at development, you don't buy something unless you know it's going to get approved. Okay. And that's the choice that the purchaser has.
So you think the purchaser, before purchasing, should put in fire hydrants?
I'm not the purchaser's lawyer, so I'm not going to give any advice to him, but I'd certainly tell my client to make sure you knew what you were buying before you bought it.
Thank you.
Okay, so we need a roll call on this?
Yes.
Tornatori.
No.
You.
No.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
No.
Childress.
No.
Covert. Desart.
No.
Eckhoff. Evans.
No.
Galassi. Garcia.
No.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwarzy.
Okay, motion fails. Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 4-24 zoning 2386 Davis Land Holdings to approve a conditional use to increase the total area of attached accessory building from 1,494 square feet to 2,128 square feet, both approved by the zoning hearing officer and development committee.
Okay. And it has been moved and seconded. We'll need a roll call here.
Tornatori.
Aye.
You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwarzy.
Okay, Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 5-24 zoning 2387, the Route 53 Cafe, to approve a conditional use for a Class B tavern restaurant in a B1 local business district.
Leave is granted. Member Tonatori.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 6-24 zoning 2392 Skulls to approve a conditional use to increase the total size of a detached accessory building from 650 square feet to 1,200 square feet. This matter was denied by the zoning hearing officer and the development committee.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Tornatori.
No.
You.
No.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
No.
Childress.
No.
Covert. Desart.
Nay.
Eckhoff. Evans.
No.
Galassi. Garcia.
No.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. And Shorzy.
Okay, motion fails. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And finally, I'd move approval of DC 07-24 zoning 2393. Courtney to approve a conditional use to allow the good side of a fence to face inward instead of outward to adjacent property, both approved by the zoning hearing officer and the development committee.
Oh, we have a question from Member Zay.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Tornatore, can you explain what the good side of a fence is? Just, do you have pictures or something? I'd like to.
That was a question I had as well. Apparently, that's the side of a fence you want to look at.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Member Zay, does that mean you're familiar with the bad side of a fence?
I have been on it many times, Madam Chair.
Okay, leave is granted. Thank you, Member Tonatore. Oh, we need a roll call. I'm sorry. Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, Member, you was a question also.
I also have a question with regard to, it says that this conditional use is only for 5 years. Is that correct? And then, what happens after the 5 years? Do they reapply for this?
Yes.
Is that right? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Okay, roll call, please.
Tornatore.
Aye.
You.
Aye.
Zay. Aye. Cahill.
Okay.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. And Shorzy.
Okay, thank you, Member
Thank you,
Tonatore.
Madam Chair.
Okay, Economic Development and Member LaPlante.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I would just like to give an update about our Economic Development Committee that we had this month. We welcomed Renew Project, which is a small local woman-owned business in my district in Glen Ellen, my hometown. And it was really exciting to have them come and present because a lot of the people on the committee had never heard of it. And it's a fantastic local business that has an economic impact on DuPage County by training and employing refugees that have been resettled into DuPage County. What makes this business so special, it's a 501c3 nonprofit, and they make sure that there is vocational skills, education, and community and support that is provided to refugees. The difference between migrants and refugees are defined and protected by and in international law. Usually, refugees and migrants are both having to flee for the same reasons, which is usually because they are fleeing war, violence, conflict, and persecution. So another wonderful thing about Renew is everyone is welcome. Any woman, it's for women who are born outside of the U.S., they are welcome to attend their English ESL classes and learn to sew. And then the refugees are given, since they have special status, they help them find jobs, and they make beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artisan handbags and accessories. So I highly suggest checking out Renew Project in Glen Ellen. A wonderful example of what can be done when we welcome in refugees into our communities. So a fantastic business that I was happy to highlight with economic development. Thank you so much.
Okay, Environmental and Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. No report today.
Okay, we'll move on to Human Services and Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am pleased to announce the DuPage Care Center has started its annual Valentine's Balloon Fundraiser. For a $5 donation, community members can send a balloon to Care Center residents to spread cheer and warm wishes. In years past, we've distributed nearly 1,000 heart-shaped helium balloons to line the corridors and rooms on Valentine's Day. This is such a well-received fundraiser every year. It always brightens the residents' days, warms their hearts, and lifts their spirits. Donations will be accepted until February 10th. Details on how to donate will be posted on the county's website, and we will also share the information on social media. For board members, there will be an opportunity to fill up and deliver balloons to residents. There will be a brief time allotted to fill up balloons at 1 p.m. on Tuesday, February 13th, following the county board meeting, and at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, February 14th, we will meet at the Care Center to distribute balloons to residents. I know this means so much to the residents and staff at the Care Center, and thank you and the community in advance for your participation. On to the agenda items. I move to approve item HSR 424, authorizing execution of the intergovernmental agreement between PACE Suburban Bus and DuPage County Community Services for the Senior Transportation Grant Program in the amount of $126,500.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Tornatori. Aye. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Ozog.
Yes.
And Rutledge.
Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSR 524, the 2024 Annual Action Plan DuPage County Consortium, first reading, acceptance of the 2024 Annual Action Plan element, the public comment period of the 2020 to 2024 Consolidated Plan for Community Development Block Grant, Home Investment Partnership, and Emergency Solutions Grant Programs to qualify and receive the Department of Housing and Urban Development Grant Funds.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSR 624, recommendation for approval of a third modification to a Home Investment Partnerships Act agreement with the DuPage Habitat for Humanity, Inc., project number HM0903, clarifying the recapture requirements as well as home affordability period for home ownership assistance.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSR 724, recommendation for approval of a Home Investment Partnerships Act funds agreement with DuPage PADS, project number HM2102B, tenant-based rental assistance in the amount of $100,000 under fiscal year 2021, with an additional $100,000 in fiscal year 2024 funds, contingent upon approval by DuPage County Board and the Department of Housing and Urban Development in the 2024 Action Plan element of the 2020 to 2024 Consolidated Plan, as well as receipt of the fiscal year 24 home allocation.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSR 824, recommendation for approval to subordinate 2 community development block grant liens with Serenity House Foundation, now known as Advanced Resource Recovery Corporation, project CD 1907 and CD 2207 to St. Charles Bank and Trust Company.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 1124, awarding resolution issued to Teen Parent Connection to provide car seats, booster seats, diapers, formula, wipes, and car seat safety training to low-income residents of DuPage County for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024 for a community services block grant sub-grantee total of $40,000.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 1224, awarding resolution issued to Catholic Charities to provide shelter, case management, and financial assistance to situationally homeless residents and at risk of homelessness residents of DuPage County for the period of January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024. The Community Services Block Grant Sub-Grantee Agreement also provides financial support for the back-to-school fair for a contract total of $65,000.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Lastly, I move to approve item 24377, travel request for Community Services Director to attend the NASED CDBG Hill Briefing and Legislative Conference and the NACO Legislative Conference in Washington, D.C. from February 7th, 2024 through February 13th, 2024. Expenses to include registration, transportation, lodging, miscellaneous expenses, and per diems for the approximate total amount of $3,638.50.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Schwarzy. Now we're on to Judicial and Public Safety and Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For my committee update, I wanted to share with the board that last Friday, the Will County and DuPage Regional Offices of Education presented, and in conjunction with Joliet Junior College and the Northern Illinois School Safety Administrator Association, presented the School Safety Summit 2024, Preparedness to Prevention. The keynote speaker was Dr. Peter Langman, who has written several books on the subject of school shooters. His presentation was heartbreaking, deeply disturbing, and hopeful at the same time. One of the breakout session topics was DuSmart, the DuPage County School Mutual Aid Response Team. This mutual aid system is activated in the event that a traumatic incident happens at a DuPage County school. DuSmart was put into place through the cooperation of the DuPage Regional Office of Education, the DuPage County State's Attorney's Office, and the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. I want to say thank you to State's Attorney Bob Berlin and our very own Lisa Smith, and DuPage Regional Office of Education Superintendent Amber Quirk, DuPage Regional Office of Education Safety Specialist John Heiderscheit, OHSEM Director Craig Diekman, and the Northern Illinois School Safety Administrator Association, and everyone else who is working together to protect our children. Dr. Langman said it perfectly, we are all on duty. And with that, I would like to move on JPS P-5-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Northeast DuPage Youth and Family Services to provide services to youth who are at risk of domestic violence and trauma for the period of February 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2025 for a contract total amount not to exceed $36,000.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Evans.
Aye.
Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. Yu.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin. Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
And Eckhoff.
Okay, Member Evans.
Thank you. I would like to move on JPSP -6-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to Alliance Technology Group LLC for the purchase of a backup system for the virtual servers for the Sheriff's Office for the period of January 24th, 2024 through January 23rd, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $98,446.20.
Leave is granted. Member Evans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move on JPS P-7-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Sentinel Offender Services LLC to provide GPS device or electronic monitoring services to juveniles and indigent adult offenders and their victims for the period of February 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2026 for a total contract amount not to exceed $612,000.
Leave is granted. Member Evans.
Thank you. And finally, I'd like to move on JPS CO-1-24, amendment to purchase order 2846-1 serve issued to Journal Technologies, Inc. for a case management system for additional users due to an increase in staffing to increase the contract total in the amount of $38,055.01.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Evans. Okay, Legislative and Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I hope you will join Chair Conroy and me in approving the contract for Greg Bales as our federal lobbyist. I want to reiterate that he will not be our federal lobbyist until after today's vote, and yet, since Greg's appearance at our Legislative Committee meeting earlier this month, Greg has already, not on contract until after today's vote, but he's already worked with Congressman Garcia's office to officially designate seek inclusion for DuPage County under Section 219, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Environmental Infrastructure Program of the Water Resources Development Act of 1992, and by doing so, the county would subsequently qualify in the future for planning, design, construction assistance for water and sewer-related infrastructure projects. He's also sent the county board and staff several federal updates already. He's also worked with congressional and county staff to identify potential community projects funding requests for DuPage County to submit this spring. He's also forwarded to county staff several federal grant opportunities for transportation and environmental projects. He's also preparing a comprehensive federal immigration memo per Member Eckhoff's request. And he's also helping county staff with the preparation of our county's federal agenda. So he's done all that, and he's not even on staff yet. Just wanted to put that out. It's clear that Greg has a solid relationship with our congressional delegation and will be a tremendous asset to DuPage County. I would argue that he already has been a great asset to DuPage County. So with that, I would move to approve LEGP 1-24, a recommendation for the approval of a county contract to McGuire Woods Consulting LLC to provide consulting services as lobbyists representing DuPage County before the U.S. Congress and the federal executive branch for DuPage County's Division of Transportation, Public Works, Stormwater Management, and all other county departments and agencies for the period of February 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2025 for a county board for the contract total amount not to exceed $96,000.
Okay, we have a question from Member Galassi.
Not a question, I just want to make a comment that I did have a conversation with lobbyist Greg since our legislative meeting, and it was a very good conversation, and I will be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. Yu.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
And Covert.
Okay, thank you, Member Desart. Public Works and Member Garcia.
For a committee update, I should have checked with Tim Harbaugh or Nick Kottmeyer. I do believe that we're on track to redo the county boardroom. Can I get an update on that, Nick? Maybe from you? Oh.
No worries.
Sorry, Chair. We can wait. We can wait.
Okay.
We can do an old business.
Can Member Garcia wait?
I can wait.
Okay, then we will wait.
All right.
Then
So
we
I have
will
no
wait.
report then.
Okay, okay. Stormwater and Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For committee update, people don't think about flooding this time of the year, but this is some of the worst time for flooding. We have snow melt, we have rain, we have frozen ground. So I want to thank our staff for continually keeping eye on our gauges and making sure our facilities are ready to go if needed here, especially with 3 days of rain forecasted. So I just want to thank them for their work. They don't get winters off like people think. They have to work year round. So I appreciate their efforts during weeks like this, and hopefully the snow melt and the rain won't amount to us opening any of our facilities. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Zay. And Technology and Member Yu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no committee update at this time, so I move on TER 1-24, termination of intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Village of Lisle to permit county staff to compile geospatial data from the Village of Lisle, update existing geospatial data, and support the Village of Lisle's current SRE software applications.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Yu.
Aye.
Zay. Aye. Cahill. Aye. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. And Tornatori.
Okay, Member Yu.
And I move now on TER 2-24, recommendation for the approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement between the Lisle Woodridge Fire Protection District and the County of DuPage for shared GIS services to include certain shared service information contained in a proposed scope of work not included under the 2018 IGA.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Yu.
Thank you.
Okay, Transportation and Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I want to thank you for your shout out for Mike Figueray and our crew who have done a great job. It has been too damn cold. So I hope that this is breaking and we will not have any more. So they've dealt with ice, snow, and later this year, locusts. We are going to have our cicadas are coming back, and I don't know. Both, yeah, so it's going to be quite a year for cicadas, and I hope that our snow shovels are available. Anyway, thank you so much. We really do appreciate your work, especially the last nasty 10 days or so. We hope for a break. I now move for approval of DTR 00524, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Village of Hanover Park to extend road resurfacing beyond the county right-of-way on multiple side streets along Army Trail Road within the village. County to be reimbursed $4,133.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Ozog.
Yes.
Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. And LaPlante.
Okay, Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 000624, Local Public Agency Agreement for Federal Participation between the County of DuPage and the Illinois Department of Transportation for improvements along County Highway 21, Geneva Road, over the west branch of the DuPage River, for an estimated county cost of $1,552,107.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTR 000724, recommendation for approval of an agreement with Libertyville Township for the purchase of wetland bank credits for the replacement of the bridge carrying Geneva Road over the west branch of the DuPage River in the amount of $28,470.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
Thanks. I move for approval of DTP 000324, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Alfred Benesch and Company for professional construction engineering services for improvements at the Geneva Road Bridge over the west branch of the DuPage River for the period January 23, 2024 through November 30th, 2026, for a contract total not to exceed $863,321, professional services based on a qualification-based selection process in compliance with Illinois Local Government Professional Services Selection Act.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move for approval of DTP 000424, recommendation for approval of a contract to Veritech Industries to furnish and deliver 4 12,500-gallon de-icer storage tanks as needed for the Division of Transportation for January 24th, 2024 through November 30th, 2024 for a contract not to exceed $92,376.56.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog.
And finally, I move for approval of 240337, amendment to resolution DTP 019722, issued to Rush Truck Centers of Illinois for the purchase of 8 plow trucks with snow and ice equipment for the Division of Transportation to increase the contract
Second
by
most favorable rule.
$29,152, resulting in an amended contract total amount of $2,376,714, an increase of 1.24%.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Ozog. Okay, is there any discussion on pension obligation? Seeing none, we'll move on to old business. Before I invite you to speak, I'd like to invite Nick Kottmeyer, surprise, to do a brief update on the boardroom renovations.
I feel like the buildup from before, it's going to be a letdown to you guys, but so happy to report the boardroom renovations are finally, I mean, our team is actually warming up the wrecking ball, so as soon as you guys are out of here, it's coming in here. We have a 5th week, so we're taking advantage of that. We have all of the material in, so you're going to see a lot of changes over the next month. And I would ask you to bear with us for that because it's going to be kind of an interim type of setup. We are obviously the security. We're going to be doing HVAC renovations in here so that it's more balanced. The seating you guys are in, the backdrop here, all the cabling, the sound, we're going to fix everything at the same time. We are going to continue to have board meetings in here during the month of February, but at the next meeting, you're going to have temporary tables. You'll have microphones, but it'll be temporary tables. We expect the second board meeting, it should be lined out. Now, for the public, we are going to set them up remotely in the 3,500 rooms to be able to participate in our meeting, but they will not be in here during the month of February. There's a possibility we might be ready to go by the second meeting in February, but we're giving ourselves a little bit of a leeway. So a lot of changes, a lot of neat improvements going on, but we are going to be hitting it very hard. That being said, all committees in this room, besides finance and board, the committees, so that would be stormwater and JPS, will be moving to 3,500 during the month of February. So but finance and board will continue to stay in here. The one thing I would ask you, I mean, when I'm saying we're taking everything down here, we're doing it quickly. So we have banker boxes for each and every one of you back in the caucus room. So if there's anything you want at your desk, you know, things on top, things in the filing cabinet, please put them on the banker boxes. We'll store them for you. But otherwise, anything left will likely be discarded. So anything on top, underneath, anything, we will bring banker boxes so everybody has their own, and then we will, because we don't want to go through your things, but I know there's a lot of old papers in those filing cabinets. We will be emptying everything.
Okay, Member Desart had a
Thank
comment
you.
or
I
question.
appreciate everything you just said, Nick, except getting rid of the 1960s backdrop. I really love that backdrop.
We can maybe give you a piece of it to take home for a souvenir. We actually, you know what? We're trying to figure out exactly what's behind here, to be honest with you, and that's going to be a little bit of a,
Oh, my God.
yeah.
Okay, Member Garcia.
I just wanted to give a big shout out of thanks to the staff. This is a big undertaking. I'm very excited to have our IT people moved to where they're actually within the room that we're in. So I think that they will be happier inside here instead of in the audience. So I'm grateful for all the work ahead of time, and so thank you so much.
And I will tell you, there's no way this would be at all possible without Jeff Madsen and Tim Harbaugh. Those two have done a tremendous amount of planning for this one. So, bear with us next month.
Okay, thank you, Nick, for that surprise. And Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. I just wanted to take a minute, because this is the last board meeting before the NACO Legislative Conference, and I just appreciate the support that this board has shown for the members who want to attend. I think it's such valuable information that we can go and learn what other counties are doing and bring that back home to DuPage. So thank you.
Okay, Member Desart.
Thank you. As Member Krajewski mentioned, I will be bringing this up at every board meeting, but Raise the Wolf is going to be a fantastic fundraiser for animal services. And who has a pen? Does anybody have a pen? Could you write this down? Friday, April 12th from 6 to 11 p.m. It's going to be at the Abington. And again, all the money goes toward the Animal Services Capital Campaign. And I also wanted to remind those of you who have businesses, Jim say, there are a number of sponsorships at all sorts of levels from $20,000 on down, but we'll happy to take more than 20. And here's the web address to buy tickets or sponsorships. It's www.dupageanimalfriends.org/gala. Thank you.
Okay, I will be buying my tickets today. Okay, anybody else in old business? Oh, I'm sorry, Member Chaplin.
Oh, yeah, I don't know if it's old or new business, but I did want to mention that you and Member Garcia and I had our District 2 meeting with our municipalities. First of all, they had nothing but praise for Craig Dickman for his work on with the migrant situation. In fact, they said, you know, as soon as he's aware of a bus coming, he calls the municipality. He also calls the city of Chicago so that once the migrants get on the train, they're met by the city of Chicago. So really shout out to you because they really had nothing but good things to say. Secondly, our municipalities have reported there have been no issues. Some migrants are getting off the bus and going with people, friends, or family that they have, which is absolutely legal. They, you know, once they get through that border in Texas, they can move around, you know, they can move around the United States. So, but most of our municipalities said things were going great. They seem to be concerned about their safety as well. So I'm just proud of our District 2 municipalities and the work that they're doing. So I thought it was important to mention that.
Yes, and I've spoken to all the District 2 mayors as well. They've been incredibly supportive, and I'm very grateful for that. Now on to new business. Okay, Member Desart. Are you going to wolf again for us?
I'm not going to wolf for you. No. You know, it's been a priority of Chair Conroy to really embrace this housing solutions as she started an ad hoc committee. So I just wanted to say that as your representative on the DuPage Housing Authority, there is progress. They are building an affordable housing complex at 640 Taft. So it's at Taft and Exmoor Avenue in Glen Ellen. There are going to be 42 units, 26 of which are going to be DHA units. 5 studios, 13 one-bedrooms, and 8 two-bedroom facilities, and there will be services on site. So for the differently gifted or mentally challenged, or even whatever services are needed at that facility, there will be services on site, which I think is incredible. So we're moving forward. We're moving in the right direction. Thank you.
It's great news, and please keep bringing those stories to the board. Like to hear that. Anybody else on new business? Okay, seeing none. I'm informed we do not have matters that require us to enter executive session, unless somebody wants to discuss sides of the fence. I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay, all in favor? Okay, this meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, December 13th, 2020.